It's Heritage Month, and through the Heritage series in September, I am dedicated towards exploring our rich cultural heritage through music, veteran musicians, and their fascinating stories. My first guest on the Heritage series is a gentleman who had been hugely popular during the commercial era of the Chutney music in South Africa. Today, though pop and bhangra may compete with the prominence of this genre, this music remains a popular cult through airplay on radio channels, wedding jolls, and social media discussions. This is where today's guest fits in. It's been a long search for him initially. I'm glad I managed to get a hold of him, and he obliged. Dodo Bugwandeen, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me on Lotus FM this afternoon.
Thank you, Varshan, and namaste to you, and namaste to the listeners of Radio Lotus. It's a privilege being interviewed by you. Thank you very much.
Dodo, I want to start by asking you to tell me a little more about your journey in music. I believe it began at the age of 9 under the tutelage of Guru Bharat and others who were descendants of the 1860 settlers.
That's correct. My late father had enrolled me to a voice cultural school at the age of 9. I studied music under Guru Bharat, Guru Adam, and Guru Jija. They were all aged between 70 and 80 years, and they were descendants of the 1860 settlers. They placed a strong emphasis on religion, discipline, respect, behavior, and music. Their key focus of my gurus was to promote the Hindi culture. I grew up in this lovely community in Stores, Newlands, among many descendants of the 1860 settlers. Some of the descendants' parents came from India, and they were still in good health. I also learned a lot in music from them, as they were excellent musicians, and they had lots of instruments which were brought down from India, like the harmonium, the tabla, the madira, sarangi, and you name it, they had all the instruments. The most important thing that I learned from the descendant was how to pitch my voice on chords like F sharp, G sharp, A chord, and B chord. These are difficult chords to sing from. I studied voice casting for about 18 years. I sang out at functions for around 40 years every Friday, Saturday, and Sundays.
Dodo, something very interesting I learned about you. In 1968, you joined the family band, Kashmir Entertainers. And not too long thereafter, the popular band had faced a challenge in the form of the infamous Group Areas Act. Can you elaborate on these experiences?
In 1968, my cousin Rishi Sunarai and my late brother Dodo Bugwandeen opened a band for us. This band comprised of all my cousins, aged 13 to 15 years old. Our band was named Kashmir Entertainers. We played at wedding functions, hardis, birthday parties, and lots of other functions. We lived in a joint family system, so band practice was never a problem. We would have a band practice maybe 2 or 3 times per day. In 1970, I was chosen to lead the Lake Haven High School band. Here I had a huge problem because our school had hundreds and hundreds of musicians. But we managed to get most of the musicians on board. Lots and lots of our musicians and singers hailed out of the Newlands and Sikaulik area. The school had 2 fundraisers at that time, and each of the shows attracted an audience of over 2,000 people. It was a huge success. Then in 1971, the shocking news arrived. The then apartheid government announced that our property at Stores, Newlands, and all the other properties had been expropriated in order to build low-cost housing, now called Newlands West. This news was heartbreaking and a very sad moment for us. This resulted in our band Kashmir Entertainers being disbanded in 1973, which was quite unfortunate. It was disheartening and completely unexpected.
Dodo, let's move over now to our conversation about Chutney music itself. What was it that drew you particularly towards Bhojpuri or Chutney music and made you explore it on such a significant scale?
My gurus always wanted me to promote our Hindu culture. So I decided to take on Chutney music and turn it into modern Chutney music and make it vibrant and bubbly. I like the Chutney type of music. They use Chutney songs to compete against each other. And the lyrics, they use a lot of Hindi slang on the lyric. For them it was fun, but at times it was embarrassing as well. Then I decided that I will give Chutney music and songs a new dimension. I started my practice on the Chutney songs, and I started to write out my own Chutney songs. And this was hard work because at that time, everyone spoke Hindi, but we were not as well versed as the descendants. I worked on my Chutney songs and turned into a modern style Chutney songs, hoping people would like it, but still keeping it cultural. I learned from my gurus that practice makes perfect. Varshan, believe me, I practice a song over 100 times before I sing it out in public. When you continue to practice, you gain more confidence and you sing with ease. Exploring Chutney on such a significant stage was very important. To me, the most important aspect of my singing is the pitching of my voice. Chutney music and singing is very vibrant. The chord has to be of the correct choice. Besides Chutney songs, not all songs are high-pitched. So I think the pitching of my songs really worked well for me.
Dodo, I really want to know, how viable was Chutney music back then in the 70s and 80s? From what I hear, it's been largely in demand at weddings and at family functions.
Yeah, Varshan, it was really in demand. People danced from start to finish. It went on till the early hours of the morning. I never disappointed the audience. If they wanted more and our time was up, believe me, they got more. I never set a time to my agenda to finish. It was always finishing 2, 3 in the morning. From the 80s, 70s, 80s and 90s until 2005, Chutney music was really viable. People used to go crazy over Chutney music, from young to old. The demand for Chutney music was so great that I played out music from Friday, Saturday and Sunday, continued every weekend. I would perform about 4 to 5 functions per weekend. All these functions are very vibrant and a reflection of our Indian culture and heritage. Not forgetting, credit also goes to the other South African musicians and singers for assisting in promoting our culture.
So on that note of South African musicians, and thank you for bringing me to this point, before music production evolved from cassette to the CD, was the market lucrative enough for an upcoming South African artist to make a career of it?
Varshan, on this point, I can only speak for myself. Yes, in my case, it was very, very lucrative because of the huge and massive support that I've had from our beautiful community. I was booked out for function every weekend, 3 to 5 performances per weekend. I was definitely blessed, that's for sure. During the 80s, I released 8 volumes of cassette. This again, I had a massive support from the community, as well as excellent sales on my cassette. I would sincerely like to thank the community for their wonderful support. But in all this being said, our major problem was piracy. Piracy was a major, major problem. And I'm glad I achieved my goal to promote the culture.
I'm thinking of songs like Baje Nagara Ke Dhol and Don't Touch My Charwa, some of the songs that you went on to record. Which songs back then were guaranteed to get the guests off the seats and dance to at a live performance?
Well, most definitely the hits were like Safi Garena and Ganga Maya. Those songs, no matter who sang it, people will dance. But then together with that, Rumalia Se Mar Mar was very, very popular. Then we had Don't Touch My Charwa. This was a super, super hit. Don't Touch My Charwa. Then we had Orania. Then we had Jaise Machariya. Then you had, Aya Raja Ram, Janakapura Nagari, Aya Raja Ram. That was also a huge hit. And most of my songs that I have written out were all hits.
And Dodo, you suddenly disappeared off the scene. What happened during that time, and how are you spending your time now?
In 2006, when I turned 50, and when you reach this milestone, you look back at the past. I have achieved more or less everything by this time, and it was one or two things I felt that needed to be corrected. Like from the 80s, I've been playing out music every weekend. And then I decided that I missed out quite a bit on family life. So then I decided that I would stop playing out music for functions, right? And spend more time with my wife Shabana, my 3 daughters Manisha, Kishika, Ivana, and now I have 2 granddaughters, Meghna Mila and Rumi Riddhi. I spend quite a bit of time teaching them music. And then I have my 2 son-in-laws, Kevin and Brendan. They are a great aspiration to me. So I decided that I would stop playing out at functions and only dedicate more time to the community to promote our cultural work at temples. From 2006, I got in full time dedicating my time performing at temples and still continue to do so. Singing bhajans, and I really enjoy singing bhajans as well. I still practice music every day. Music hasn't stopped for me. From 2006, I practice every day, and as I say, I go out to temples and all community organizations to sing bhajans. Then over the lockdown period, I've been giving free harmonium lessons on social media and WhatsApp. The response was really great. It's amazing to see such good progress of our children and how well they are doing with the lessons. I was deciding to open a music school for voice counseling in April this year, whereby I could pass some of my knowledge to our children and adults on the harmonium and voice counseling. But due to COVID-19, the plans had to be shelved. So, however, I will reconsider this plan next year and see how it goes. It will be nice to open up a music school and pass on this knowledge.
Dodo Bugwandeen, I must say it's been such a great pleasure catching up with you after all these years, and I've been a fan for many years as well, and thank you for allowing me to explore Chutney music, to explore your musical career as well on Lotus FM this afternoon. I want to take this opportunity in wishing you all the best, and hopefully someday there will be another live performance of yours which I can be at and come out there and support you.
No, definitely. Thank you very much, Varshan, and thank you, Radio Lotus, for hosting me. Really appreciated.
Amar devara, don't you touch my acharwa. 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 Karwa mein bhaiya amar devara, karwa mein bhaiya amar devara. don't you touch my acharwa. Amar devara, don't you touch my acharwa. Amar devara, don't you touch my acharwa. Satiyon se aayi re, patiyon se jai re, patiyon se aayi re, patiyon se jai re, mera sindura, more maat pe sindurwa ke liye na, more maat pe sindurwa ke liye na. Patiyon se aayi re, patiyon se jai re, patiyon se aayi re, patiyon se jai re, mera sindura, more maat pe sindurwa ke liye na, more maat pe sindurwa ke liye na. बाबा लाए सोवा सारी भैया लाए कंगेना, बाबा लाए सोवा सारी भैया लाए कंगेना, बाबा लाए सोवा सारी भैया लाए कंगेना की के लिए ना, मोरे माट पे सिंदूरवा के लिए ना, मोरे माट पे सिंदूरवा के लिए ना। पतियों से आई रे, पतियों से जाई रे, पतियों से आई रे, पतियों से जाई रे, मेरा सिंदूरा, मोरे माट पे सिंदूरवा के लिए ना, मोरे माट पे सिंदूरवा के लिए ना। फटे जाए सोवा सारी टूटे जाए कंगेना, फटे जाए सोवा सारी टूटे जाए कंगेना, फटे जाए सोवा सारी टूटे जाए कंगेना की के लिए ना, मोरे माट पे सिंदूरवा के लिए ना, मोरे माट पे सिंदूरवा के लिए ना। पतियों से आई रे, पतियों से जाई रे, पतियों से आई रे, पतियों से जाई रे, करे दुलाए जब दुलावे मारो में आए जब दुलावे मारो में आए जब दुलावे मारो में आए पंडित तो शादी करावे तो आज करे दुलाए पंडित तो शादी करावे तो आज करे दुलाए बाजे नगारा की ढोल की आज करे